So we were talking about Micah earlier, and he called Colby Wooden the general.
The general.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're. Anyways, how has the general been a big factor in your run defense?
I love the general.
Talk about your run defense.
Did he tell you why he called him the general?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he say? I'd love to hear his explanation.
He said VO gave it to him because the general is the heart of the run defense as the nose.
There's no doubt. And I think it's bigger than that. I mean, if you guys have been around him, right? He's got this energizing presence and personality, and it's upbeat, and how hard he plays, and the role that he's, all of a sudden himself finds him in. He's just this relentless guy who always has a smile on his face that you kind of want to follow him, And it's good to have guys like that, and it's cool to hear a Micah Parsons, compliment his teammates like he often has been doing, and giving a guy like that a nickname. But he's earned it. I'm proud of the way that he's played. I love being around him. I mean, he's been great.
Since you first got here last spring, how have you seen Colby Wooden progress? I mean, we can see physically how much he's bulked up. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, it's everything. It's his opportunity, right? He's playing a lot more. It's his fundamentals, it's technique. I think VO and DeMarcus and Wendell have done a great job with him. And it's just how hard he's worked. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's getting really good in the run game. And he's got confidence. And I think that's so important for all of our players, which is hard nowadays, right? I mean, everybody seems to ride these roller coasters, and he's just a confident guy now. And his teammates believe in him. He believes in himself. We believe in him. And I think that's huge. And I think he's like an energy giver. I think that's the best way that I could explain the guy. And like I said, I'm just proud of him. I think he's going to get better and better as he goes. And because he's still a young player who doesn't have a whole lot of experience. But I'm excited to see what he can do.
What does it mean for your defense and your line, especially to have Devonte back on the field?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, from a lot of ways. If you watched early in the game and you just watched him run to the ball and how physical he was, even down the field. I'm not just talking about like point of attack. He's taking on double teams. He's making negative plays. His pass rush. He's pushing the pocket. Watch him run to the ball and watch him hit people down the field. I mean, whether it's chasing down a screen or chasing down a ball carrier or a receiver standing around the pile and he just, knocks a big guy over. He's just got a ton of energy, and he's strong, and he's a dog. I mean, and that's what he brings. He brings that attitude to the interior of the D-line. I think guys like rushing with him, and we certainly like him in the run game. And, I don't know if he was 100% because you could kind of see him working his way back into it. But I thought he played pretty well in his return. We missed him, and I think he'll get better as he goes, and he feels more comfortable.
Micah also has 3 fourth quarter sacks this year. And when I asked him about it, he explained it was more situational. But he does seem to play really good in the third and fourth quarter. Do you see that as well? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think he plays good in all quarters. And I'm not saying that to take a shot at your question because I think your question is valid. I mean, I attribute it to this. I mean, if you watch Major League Baseball and the closer comes in at the end of the game and he's got to get 3 outs, that's his job. When it's the fourth quarter and we need a stop, a 2-minute stop, or we need a sack, Micah Parsons is our closer, and he's going to get the 3 outs. And I think he takes a lot of pride in that, and that's how he's built. And I think at the end of the game, when people start to get tired and he's putting his hand in the ground or he's coming up the middle or wherever we put him, he's just got a relentless motor, and he knows it's his job to close out the game. So I think that comes from here, and he's a great player.
Do you think, to follow up real quick, a lot of guys will get fatigued. Is mentally, though, can you be even sharper because you've seen everything at that point, too? He knows everything that he expected is really playing out in real time as well. So you could be mentally sharper even if you're physically tired.
Yes, and that's a good point. And I think what he does throughout the course of the game, which we also have to do, people don't protect against us like what we see on tape. There's like a Micah Parsons plan every week. And it's actually making us become better coaches because we're constantly thinking about, all right, how has Micah been protected against? How are they going to protect him against this week? We go into a game with a plan, we see it, and we have to adjust, right? And he sees it, and he hears it, and there's constant communication about it. And as we get going and we see that, I think it helps us out a lot mentally, right? I also think you have a guy that in those 2-minute situations, I mean, it's rush after rush after rush. You can't think about breathing at that point. You got to put your hand in the ground and do it again. And he just has that inside of him, and it's been really cool to see. But the mental part with Micah, I think, is one of the things that's hidden. Everybody sees this great physical player, but he is on it now when it comes to protections and what's going on, and that absolutely helps us later in the games.
Jeff, on the opposite side of that, with Rashan on the other side of the line, I should say, what have you thought of just the start he's off to? Because I think it's already 7.5 sacks. It's tying what he had last year. His quarterback hits are right there too. Just kind of the groove that he's been on during the first half.
Yeah, it's been great. And the thing I said to him, I think it was Tuesday morning or Wednesday, whenever our first day back, was I'm just so impressed with how he's playing the run game. I mean, he's setting edges. He's getting off blocks. He's not just rushing up the field. He's physical. He's tackling. I think he's becoming a complete player. And what he's doing is he's taking advantage of his opportunities, and he's winning his one-on-ones. He got the sack fumble last week, and he's finishing. And I'm proud of him. And I think it all stems back from the hard work that he's put in, from OTAs to training camp to now, and how hard he's working on the practice field. And I still think his best football is ahead of him. So another guy, just appreciate how hard he's working and how he's playing right now.
Hey, Jeff. For the number of times that Carrington Valentine played press on Metcalf, when he was across from Metcalf, was that prescribed, or was a lot of it what he wanted to do? And, how did you think he handled playing press like that?
Well, there were situations we wanted to press him, based on where our help was and what the call was, because we wanted to get our hands on him if we had somebody over the top, or we wanted to get our hands on him and play underneath him, or it was a shorter down and distance and we wanted to challenge people. And then there's times we wanted to play off. But how do I think he played? I thought he played one of his best games since he's been here. And I think that says a lot about him as a person and him as a player. And I think it's important for all players to see that. Again, this league's hard. Every game's hard. And that's one of the hardest positions to play. And you're going to have adversity. And he had adversity, and he wasn't playing a lot. But he didn't sit there and sulk, and he didn't, complain. All he did was work, and he practiced harder, and he got better, and he earned the opportunity to go back on the field. And then what did he do? He took advantage of the opportunity, and he played really good against a really good wideout in one of the Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, Metcalf didn't do much in the game, right? Most of the pass game wasn't very effective throughout the game, and he was a huge part of it. And that's why, take the game away. I'm most proud of the fact that guys have to be able to go through adversity, right? It's like everyone wants to point the finger at Nate Hobbs right now. Like, Nate Hobbs isn't benched. This isn't the last you're going to see Nate Hobbs. There's no confidence lost in Nate Hobbs. I said that last week. I have not lost confidence in him. And what I love to see right now is how Nate Hobbs practiced these last 2 days. And that's what we have to build around here. Things are going to get hard. You're not going to win every game, and you're not going to play great, but you can't hang your head. You got to rise up when that happens. And that's what CV did. And that's what I'm confident Nate's going to do, because we're going to need all those guys to win. And that's why I like coaching this group right now, because it's getting tight, and we all have to understand that and help each other out.
So what went into that decision?
There were a lot of things that went into the decision. How CV was practicing, how he was playing, and, he had the opportunity. He was playing well, and we just kept him in the game. I mean, there's really nothing more to it than that.
Is it difficult to have short-term memory back there? 'Cause
Yeah.
Nate kind of talked about, you can be good for 90% of the time, but the 10% kind of gets magnified.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. I mean, you're the one position on the field where the camera's on you, there's no help, it's one-on-one, the ball's up in the air, and you could wind up on the ground with the receiver over the top if you catching the ball for a touchdown. And you have to get up and jog off the field. Like, just think about that for a second. There's however many thousand people at the game. There's however many million people watching the game. I mean, you could be in another position and miss a tackle and nobody really knows, or you could, not be where you're supposed to be on a play and nobody really knows, but the whole world knows. I mean, so that's hard, and you have to be tough-minded, and I don't want those guys to lose confidence, and you can't coach them that way, and you can't talk to them that way. You got to get them better. We got to get them better, but just appreciate and respect what goes into playing that position at this level and how hard that is, and to be able to bounce back from it. I mean, that takes a special person.
Quay didn't practice today. I'm not sure. Maybe it's precautionary or whatever, but you talked about him being elite last week. What would you miss without him, and what has made him elite in your mind? What have you seen this half of the season?
I just think there's so much growth to him as a person, as a leader, maturity, and then on the field. I mean, he sees the game so much quicker right now. And I think Sean Duggan has done an incredible job with him, teaching him the game, being around him. I think he's taken a big step, so I credit to both of them. His football knowledge, the way he's starting to see things and call runs out and call passes out and get guys lined up. Like if you watch him right now, and it's almost like he's a quarterback back there, moving a wide receiver over here, checking this. He's moving defensive linemen. He's sliding over linebackers. He's talking back there with X. He's starting to see things before they happen, which is really, really impressive. Then the communication, the things that I'm putting on him right now that I did last week in that game to try to go with those players, the way he communicated the calls and got in and out of things based on our conversations, he wouldn't have been able to do that last year. And I think he's taken a step that way. And then I think he's playing faster. He's playing more confident because you talk about confidence. Because there was a time last year when everybody, it was Quay Walker's not playing well. Is Quay Walker good enough? I mean, that was the reality of maybe last year at this time. And, you know, he probably feels that too. But right now, just like the rest of these guys, I mean, he's got great confidence and he's not wavering from that and he's playing like that. And that's what we want these guys to do is just don't be afraid to make mistakes out there. Just be confident and go play as fast and as hard as you can. And if something bad happens, we'll correct it, we'll fix it, but let's just go on to the next play. And that's hard to do. I cannot say enough about how well that guy's playing and how much I appreciate the hard work that he puts in, the extra meetings that he comes and sees me. We go over the call sheets. We talk about what he likes, what I like, why. I mean, I love the guy.
Hopper played a lot of middle linebacker in camp, right, with the twos?
He did.
So what's behind the decision, at least the last time, you went with McDuffie in the middle instead of him?
Just the experience and the opportunities that we've seen and been around him, and he's done it, and just really that's all right now. Just the confidence that we have in him. I think Hop could do it too, so I think they're both very good options to do it. They're all going to have to play.
You've had Hopper out there at least a little bit, like on that 2-point play he was out there.
That was a great play too.
I guess why was he out there in obviously in an important situation? What did you think of him?
It was a package we had with an extra linebacker in the game. They came out in a personnel grouping that we wanted to match it in that position on the goal line. And then, I grabbed him after the game. I mean, that was it. That was game over when he made that play because the guy had the ball for a second and he gloved it out and ripped it out. I mean, I don't know if that play gets enough credit, so I'm glad you brought it back up. That was one of the biggest plays of the game. I do have confidence in Hopper, and I do believe that the further we go into the season, the more that you'll see him play.
Jeff, you know those, some of the times when you mug Quay and
Coop? I didn't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right.
It's old age.
No.
At the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And sometimes Quay will bail out a little bit early. Are you still working with him on holding water, or are those things that, you're okay with that, where he's trying to,
No, you're
back to where he wants?
It's both, right? A lot of times, say last week, the guy's up there and he's got the best hard count and he's changing and he's full and it's and then all of a sudden, the biggest thing is you want to use the shot clock, right? So just for some insight, a lot of times you tell the players before you go into any game, try to find out where that shot clock is, because a lot of quarterbacks, I could tell you, most offenses we study, you try to find out when they snap the ball on third down. So you try to use that shot clock to gauge it, and you work really hard on that at practice, so you can hold there as long as you can. Now, the other thing is, if I want him mugged up, but I give him a job that's like really, really far away, and he cannot get it done from the line of scrimmage, then I'm totally okay with him getting out early. Because when I talk about disguise, which we talk about a lot, don't ever let the disguise take away from executing your job. Does that make sense? So if he has to get out early to do his job, that's okay. Make sense?
When defending the run, Evan had talked about the importance of trust, not overextending yourself, doing your job, knowing that the person next to you is going to. That trust element, is that just developed in all of the practice reps, the film room, or where does that come from?
Yeah, it's from practice, and it's from trusting the guy in front of you after seeing it over and over again is going to do his job so that you can do your job. When you talk about run defense, a lot of times you talk about building a flat wall, right? So there's gaps. So if the three technique's over here and the A gap is the open gap and I'm responsible for the A gap, I got to trust the 3 technique stays in the B gap. And what he can't do is when the ball goes like this, he can't do this too early, because if I'm in the A gap and he's in the A gap and the ball crosses back to the B, we're in trouble. So it's trusting the 3 technique's going to stay the 3 technique. If I'm Evan and I have a 9 technique in front of me, which means I'm going to set the edge on the defensive end, he's the outside piece. He has to stay outside the tight end, and Evan has to stay inside. Well, if that defensive end comes inside and Evan's inside, we're going to give up an explosive play. So that's how it's like a puzzle, right? Everybody's got to fit the right part of the puzzle, and you build a flat wall and you play good defense. The only way you get that done is if everybody does their job, which is the hardest thing to do on defense. Because if one guy's wrong, we're all wrong, right? And that's the huge part of what Evan's talking about, because I could see what he's saying. A lot of times we insert him in different spots. He's got to trust the guy in front of him is in his spot. So if he's in his spot, we're in good shape. Does that make sense? So that's what he's saying. Evan's a smart guy.